When Covid-19 struck, many people in Uganda were left to starve as a result of the lockdown. This weighed too heavy on children in slums, whose main source of income were vending of goods on roads and in people's homes. These conditions pushed many abandoned kids to resort to theft as a means of survival. According to Mrs. Florence Kaluba, a community leader in Chebandoa, Kampala suburb, many of these kids do not like the life they live, but find themselves without any other option but theft as a quick means of survival. Kaluba says she came to learn this after finding out that she was a target for the group Kifesi, a famous criminal gang that had started taking advantage of the lockdown hardships to recruit young kids. On knowing this, she took the liberty to speak to one of these kids who confessed that they had been sent to steal in her home. Considering their age, Mrs. Kaluba asked the kids if that's the life they wish to live. "If someone showed us direction, we would transform," said one of the girls in a conversation with Mrs. Kaluba. On hearing this, Ms. Mirembe offered these kids shelter, psychosocial support, and vocational skills training. Mama Wabayaye, meaning mother to gangsters, is the title she has earned over the years because of her efforts in giving homage to those outcast children living on the streets.
COVID was both a blessing and a challenge to my life. A blessing that if it wasn't for COVID, I don't think I would yoke up with these young people. I think I would have dropped them maybe to go and look fend for themselves, but because of COVID they had nowhere to run to, so this became their home and I became their mother. So that was a blessing to me, to look after such people and understand them, and maybe you would not be here interviewing me. I don't think I would have anything to tell you. So it was a challenge because everybody was constrained, you can't move out. If they fall sick, you have to call someone. You come from a dispensary. We have the local clinics. Come and look after. Come and get this injection. Health-wise, it was a challenge to me. Feeding wasn't a challenge, but when they fell sick, it was a challenge.
18 years old Ramadan Muhammad, now a professional chef, was once a street kid that used to gather bottles until 2003 when Mrs. Kaluba took him off the streets, rehabilitated him, gave him free catering and bakery skills with a certificate which skills have earned him a new skin in society.
Eri obulamu bukalubamu neke nyini kale like oba tugambe okaluba mukale nakategeera matona kale kononeka nnyo kuba nali nagenda yoko nenkale nga sina kale kuguka nnyo nga mmanyi nti kati omuntu kati alina okuba nga ategeera nensalawo neŋŋamba kati biri biganye ate twabeera bubeezi wano kuba ebiseera ebyo baali bakuba abaana balonda ebyuma nga babakuba ate nga babatta nobatta naye nga kati okusinga ogenda mu ebyo agenze neyeekuumira wano asinga kati buno obudde tulira bulungi kuba okusinziira kati nga we nali saali awo mu mbeera kale zeeyagaza nga sinza ali awo kale gebasaka okwenyumirizamu naye kati omuvubuka asobola okukola kino kuba nenkeri nange nali nange sikisuubira nekanga bwekansi kuba nagenda nasuka kale kati nga wetunaba nga waliwo akolawo naye nga just otestinga mu testi nzogamba kati kankolemu nange nabo bansobola ngenda okikola nga ndaba nsobola okikola bulungi nnyo kati nemugamba sobola okikola nangamba oba osobola tugenda kuwa omulimu otandike ng'okukolanga era kati buno obudde era ne wembeera awo nenyumirizaamu nti nkisobola.
Martha Kataike, living with only her mother, is a senior 5 student and aspiring engineer, narrates how the plight of her father neglecting their family, consisting of mother and 3 children, pushed them into suffering until 2009 when Mrs. Kaluba came to their rescue.
I came to be in Mrs. Kaluba's organization, I think it was 2001, is it? No, not 2001, 2009 when I was in top class, because I think that's the age when my dad left us. So during those years she came in, Gamami, ela situations, Gamami, tata wa family sewa agenze, nga tuli abaana basatu, So Mrs. Kaluba najjamu n'agamba nti she can help me. So nampeerera top class P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6, P7. So kweyo state ya P7 embeera nesooka neekalubamu. Of course weyaleeteramu bano bakowa boys, bakowa beyajja ku street. So embeera nesooka neekalubamu that yalina ate okusooka okuspendinga some money on them. So nensooka nentuulako for some weeks ng'abaana bala bajoininze already for secondary. So nensooka nentuulamu kaawo. Then she was like, oba mukomi wano basi mukomi wano. But then still she came in and then she's like, kamwongereyo. So she took me for senior 1, senior 2, senior 3, mpaka ku senior 4. So etwatukira ku senior 4, some circumstances came in. Nagamba like, if she doesn't get a first grade means omukomi awo. So very many ideas came in, nursery teaching, or going for nursing. So ebibuuzo ate webyakomawo. Ebibuuzo ebyakomawo nga era twaliwo option ndala. Of course I had performed well. Nasalawo nanyongerayo ku wampeewo ntake until right now. Yansasula school fees.
According to government, as many as 15,000 children live on the streets of Uganda's capital city, Kampala, aged from 7 up to the age of 17, are living in poverty, hunger, and experiencing violence. It's against that background, Mrs. Kaluba calls upon every able person in their capacity to join hands and restore hope into those needy before calling for the government.
If every community leader would offer to help one person who is carrying a sack on the back, instead of run after him, chase him. If people would be able to do that and liberate our own community, each community. I think before the government does that, before we say government should come, government doesn't know what is happening in your community. It is you, the government, in the community. So I'm appealing to the community leaders and those able people to sponsor at least one child on the street to do something, to liberate them from the economic bondage. Yeah. Before the government, there's a community first.
Having shared the views of those that left the streets, allow me to take you on the streets to get a feel of the life of a street child in Kampala, Uganda.
As I was talking to some of the street kids, some mentioned that they have conditions that do not allow them to stay in their homes. Some mentioned finances, mistreatment from their parents, and I've come across one of them who is going to mention to us one of the reasons, or some of the reasons why he isn't staying with his parents and decided to collecting bottles as a means of survival. Tubulireko kumanyago.
Ngudi Douglas.
Lwaki oli okola guno omulimu gw'okukunganya ebicupa?
Nze njagala ssoma mbikola lwakuba mama talina ssente nga njagala ssoma.
Kati obeera ng'otambula. Kati abantu tebakuyita omubbi, tofuna obuzibu nga balowooza nti oli mubbi.
Abamu batera ogamba tuli babbi naye nga ffe tuwenja kale si byakuba ffe twala bicupa byokka. Abamu bagamba tuli babbi.
Naye ate abamu babba ebintu by'abantu si kyo?
Abamu abawenja ebyuma bo batera okubba ebintu byabwe naye ffe tuwenja bicupa byokka.
Buzibu ki bwe musinga okusanga nga mulokola emirimu gino egy'okunoonya ebicupa?
Mpozi nga abantu batusanga mukuone bagamba tuli babbi kyokka nga tetuli babbi ne batukuba. Ng'ate ng'embeera yeetukaka kyokka ffe tetwagala wenja naye lwakuba ssente teziriwo mama ffe tebalina ssente naye nga ffe twagala ssoma.
Kati wabadde oŋŋambye mama yagambye ate?
Mama nze mbadde nsoma naye lwakuba mama talina ssente yagambye nti nje sonywe katebe okusoma mpenje.
Now that's a boy around 12-13 years. His mother feels that she doesn't have money to take him to school anymore, and all he has left is being on the streets, collecting bottles for survival and helping his mother out at home. If someone looked at these street kids, they would think maybe they want the life they are going through, or they chose the life, but some of them find themselves going through that kind of life without an option. Thank you for listening in.
Appreciation to the European Union for the financial support for the production of this story. I am Wesibade Halima.